Get a cup, get a cup, get a cup. Hello, welcome back everyone to another video. First Slim, and today we're looking at Cave Divers Need to Stop by Tommy NFG. I don't understand people who do cave diving. It's absolute, especially I have claustrophobia. That's probably one of the biggest things I'm afraid of. That and heights. I don't like heights either. It seems like I need to be on solid level ground at all times. You know, I can't go up and I can't go down. But anyway, whatever. With that being said, the original is in the description. Let's begin.
I can barely keep my head above the water.
The first thing is this? It's unbelievable. Why would you do this for fun?
All right, here we go.
Jack and his
Buddies sprayed with a deep into a cave carved by an underground river. Out of the blue, the water rose sharply, and they found themselves in a crisis like never before. The cold water was eating away at their breathing space.
Cave diving, an underwater extreme sport which is done as a way to explore the wonder of caves. You can face wonderful things such as dark, desolate spaces with the sharpest rocks on earth, tight openings where you may have to break your kneecaps to get through, oxygen tanks that can run out and potentially have you suffocate to death, but ooh, look at that view. And if you're
I'll say the view's nice. Is it worth risking my life just to see a nice little view like that? I'd probably say no.
mad at me for calling it a sport, don't get mad, okay? That's what Google says. But when you're in situations like this, it's probably a sport,
I think it needs to be reclassified under mental illness.
right?
Are elbow pads gonna be a problem for me? My sweater, anything?
The passage is both rugged and very tight for me.
Just the way I like it.
Cool. The rock
Cool.
camera would be helpful. Is there room to turn around and come back?
How are you gonna say that? How are you gonna say that when your body's like that?
Okay. Oh my goodness. I understand. So Jacob went face first down a drop down there. It's a little tight through here, but I can keep moving my elbows through. So
All these people really need better hobbies. Why can't you just play foosball? I would 100% would have a panic attack of going into something like this. They're doing some really dangerous, extreme, like, I would never recommend anyone do this. And when you're doing it, like, how do you know if it's safe? If it's your first time going into a cave like this, how do you know if it's safe? There's too many how do you knows and what ifs that it's not worth it.
as long as I can keep bending my elbows,
Yeah.
I'm okay. Oh, I'm too old for this, dude. I am too old for this.
By the way, people do this as an option in life. It wasn't set mandatory, this was a free will pick. So yeah, cave divers have been the topic of the month in social media trends, I guess. I don't know who or when we started talking about cave divers, but if you go on YouTube,
Yeah, I remember when that was a meme. It's funny.
you got a ton of channels documenting the craziest cave diver deaths. And on TikTok, it's become a trend to make fun of them. The joke being, anytime a cave diver sees a tiny crack, they try to slide right in. That may have not sounded right, but y'all get the point.
Doesn't
Now,
make
my
any
main
sense.
reason on making this video is trying to find out why the f anyone would do this. Obviously, the main people this appeals to
Are freaking people who like adrenaline. These are adrenaline junkies on a different level, you know, on a very different level of adrenaline junkie. But it's the same people who do rock climbing without harnesses, you know.
is thrill seekers. There's a whole genre of human who just love doing the most
Or
death-seeking
people like this.
activities,
Never do
which
this.
we'll talk about later, but we'll focus on cave diving. One of the main reasons for my research on why people do it is because cave diving is seen as one of the last things humans have explored on Earth. Because most people aren't trained to do it and usually think, I can either spend thousands of dollars into learning lessons on how to cave dive properly as a hobby, or buy a gaming PC and run some games with the gang. I'm going with the PC. Honestly, I have
Same.
no clue how much cave diving lessons cost. It was just a joke. Cave divers, don't come at me. I am a quote with a water gun. But they see it as places where almost nobody on Earth has visited. It's like that thing.
See this right here?
I'm a quote with a water gun. But they see it as places where almost nobody on Earth has.
This guy right now is in the peak pleasure, peak enjoyment right there, folks. I love this.
Visited. It's like that thing in humanity where everybody wants to be the first at something. And that's usually where a lot of the cases happen, in places that have never been explored. Even if they are though, if you're not professionally equipped, you're gonna end up a peanut butter and rock sandwich. Which is why a lot of the experts say you need to be well trained before going, especially if you're just starting out. One of the most famous cave diving incidents is known as the Nutty Putty Cave incident.
I've heard of this one. This guy got, if I'm correct, this guy got stuck and they couldn't get him out. So I think they attached like an IV to him or something. I forget the whole thing, but basically this was the end of his road, end of his journey.
You may have seen your favorite horror YouTuber talk about this for the 20th time, but I'm sorry, I do have to rehash it for the people that may not know. It all started on November 24th, 2009. A man named John Jones with his brother and friends decided they wanted to go cave diving in the, you guessed it,
John Jones. It's kind of like an NPC name, isn't it? Not to be rude to him. Never. Don't take that as an insult.
Nutty Putty Cave. Most of the cave was mapped out by people exploring it, but not all of it. My brain is way too small to figure out how the they mapped it out purely by looking at things like this. Probably why I just make YouTube videos. John accidentally slipped into the wrong section of the cave though, and got put into a narrow slope in the cave facing downwards. I don't know how you
Yeah, how do you get out of that?
You don't panic like this, but I would be cooked. And over 27 hours, 130 rescuers were trying to save him. They tried to pull him out with a system of pulleys and ropes, but it made things worse. And when one person finally managed to be pulling him out, his rope snapped in half. That's the type of luck I would have in this situation. But sadly, through the next day, they couldn't end up pulling him out, and he ended up dying from cardiac arrest and suffocation in the cave. The whole situation is sad, and John sadly wasn't trained enough for it. The worst part about this is, I just found out they made a movie recreation of it.
Go figure, yeah? Go figure. I wonder what we can make a movie of. Hey boss, I got an idea. So there was this person and they died. Now you're speaking, buddy. I feel like that's how the office meetings go at a lot of these, movie studios. What's a big tragedy that we can try to make the most amount of money on? It's like the ones who, like TMZ, like as soon as the P. Diddy trial thing started, they made like 2 movies about it or whatever.
Imagine someone close to you dies a tragic death in a scenario like this, and they make it a movie with 5.5 stars on IMDb, and put that bitch on Peacock for free. Like, my at least put it on Netflix. Now we gotta lay down.
I would say if you're giving the money or a portion of the earnings to, say, the family members of the tragedy, it's a little bit better. But still, it's in real bad taste, I'd think.
Down one thing about cave diving. Obviously, by the amount of people that do them, it's not a casual thing of a cave diver going out to explore and being packed up immediately. It's more of a when a situation does happen, it becomes a big thing that people talk about because the situations are so crazy. Think of it like the stories y'all are seeing now about the planes malfunctioning all over the world. Meanwhile, just in the USA, there's 16 million flights a year. I don't blame people for not taking those odds though. This year, it feels like planes have been deciding to give up on purpose.
Apparently, though, the amount of planes that have been having issues is actually lower this year and last year. It's been low. It's actually been getting lower. It's just that there's more people filming and everything, and it's more in the public's eye now. But there are actually less plane incidents per year. I think this year, like last year or whatever, comparative to previous years.
The reason cave divers do it is to see the formations of the cave and how cool they look. And I can admit, they look pretty cool. Not worth risking my life to death type of cool, but I can give it a thumbs up. People also find new species when going cave diving. And who doesn't want to be a person who could say they found a whole species?
I would not want to be a person who discovered a species while cave diving. That's something like straight out of a horror movie. And all those animals inside of the caves are not exposed to light, so their skin is all effed colored and clear and pasty. They look like, they look very bizarre. Because they aren't exposed to light.
A lot of times it is pretty useless though, like worms and shrimps. But at least you can name yourself after it. I also found this post about some cave divers explaining why they personally do it. And yes, this Reddit is called r/caving. Nowadays, anybody got a Reddit. Speaking of Reddits, make sure y'all join mine too. I check it every Twitch stream. The person said, so a few days
Yeah, make sure you join my Reddit. My Reddit.
ago, I came across caving accidents on YouTube, and I've been terrified of the concept of caving since then. I'm not making this post disrespectful by any means, but I'm just genuinely curious. Let's see, y'all think the cave divers got mad at this? The top comment is, why do anything that's not required to exist? It's fun and fulfills desires. Same with most activities in the outdoors.
Yeah, I often equate playing football or playing soccer to risking my life. Because, I don't have to play soccer, so I might as well go cave diving.
Okay, I would say not every activity is like cave diving outdoors. You got...
There's risk levels. Cave diving is, it's like off the chart risk.
Hiking. I feel like that's pretty safe as long as you go to a well-pathed area. You also got fishing too. Most of us don't shy away from what ifs. You could expire in a desert if you're not prepared, or in another risky activity. Oh my god, I can't...
Mountaineering.
Mountaineering? What is that? I don't think I've ever heard of that. Oh my god, that's this?
Yeah, this stuff's crazy too. But this is also safer than going in a cave, you know? It's dangerous. It's definitely up there on the risk scale. But caving, I'd say, is even higher.
This is by far worse than cave diving because genuinely, bro, like that ice gives up, that ice melts a little bit, you're cooked. I think the crazy mountaining activity I'll never understand is Mount Everest. Like Mount Everest is so dangerous.
They have bodies as checkpoints.
They do. And it's also so busy. There's a little... If you get to the top, you get traffic. Which is bizarre. I've seen so many videos of people at the top, and then there's traffic to actually get to the final peak. You're waiting in a line of, like, you know, 100 or so people. Like, what do I have to wait 2 hours now to get to the actual peak? Like, it's so stupid.
Tell people want to climb the mountains from people that formerly died there. You can go as fast or slow as you want. Keep it tame or push your limits. For me, it started as a fun thing to do, but now it's more about research and conservation of the caves. Okay, see, that's a little bit better of a reason. Because, you know, we're going to have some type of people to research those caves and do that as a job. And if most scientists don't want to do that, I respect him for doing that. Cave divers with loving family when they find a 0.0001 centimeter called the devil's anus and they dive into it. The TikTokers have invaded the cave diving subreddit. Come on, y'all, this is their...
I'm all about preserving that anus. What?
Caving, bro. Can we leave r/caving as the cavers Reddit as their place? Those cave diving accident YouTube videos are usually low effort and inaccurate. I feel like from a lot of the videos I've seen, they're like really detailed though. Like they'll go into a full breakdown of the timeline of when they entered to when they left. Because I've seen a couple of them just because it seems so...
Even if they are adding extra stuff for flair, the fact is, the person that they're making it about probably did end up perishing while cave diving. Let's not pretend like it's like they're just making that stuff up. They may be making up aspects or adding stuff for creative reasoning, right? But at the end of the day, if Joe Schmo went in and didn't come out and that's a real person, it still shows the risk to cave diving.
So interesting, and like they'll have a like I don't even know how they find out all the details of the incident, but they have it listed. Seriously, it's like 3 social media cavers constantly pretending they're in life-threatening situations and freaking out for shock value. Could the videos have been dramatized? Some of them, yeah.
100%.
I'm not sure. There's like so many people that post these type of videos, but hey, that's what gets them the money, man. People want to see them in situations like that. You know, nobody's gonna care if they're in a normal, calm, safe cave. They want to see you damn near.
That's right. This is what people want to see. And 100% that's a great, like, shot, but it does prove how dangerous it can be.
It's fun, I like it, and no one can bother me when I'm in a cave. I mean, there's a lot of places, though, where you can't be bothered. You can go to a desert, the middle of the ocean. For me, it's mostly for the beauty and peacefulness of caves, the feeling of adventure, the scientific aspect of it, too. Also, what I love about caving is the feeling of doing something tiring, painful, and difficult, but laughing all through it because you are with your friends. You might just gotta dump.
You might want to start working out at a gym if like that. You know, you do it with your friends, it's tiring, it's difficult. Well, I'd rather go to the gym than go in a cave. But I also feel the same way about caves as I do with like actual just diving in general. Because I guess it's a little bit safer diving because you can just go up. But there's also a level of claustrophobia I think there is to actual diving. Because although you can just go up, you may be very, very deep. And if something in like an emergency happens going up, you know, you can't really do that too fast. Otherwise you get the bends and you know, it's still a level of claustrophobia, I think, to that.
Domination kink. That's what it's sounding like to me. No judging over here. No judging over here, all right? I hope that gave y'all more insight into why the cave divers like doing it. And I know everybody's making fun of cave divers and clowning them, but something I think is way worse of a thrill seeker activity is all those parkour videos back in the day that used to go viral. I don't know why in the 2010s the thing was parkour and people doing double backflips off buildings.
Remember planking? When people just lie flat on things for some reason. It's just another fad, you know, it's just another fad and you go from one to the other and that's how these things work. But I do think parkouring on the edge of buildings is absolutely stupid.
It's another one of those free will things people choose to do with their life. Like these will straight up climb skyscrapers in the clouds to get the thrill.
Yeah, this stuff on YouTube, this is so crazy. Oh my word, where are they?
I feel like
it feels like when you're going into like a store and you don't really know where the bathroom is, so then you're kind of looking around for the bathroom. And then And then if you ask someone, they tell you, oh, it's over there. And then it's in an area where you're not, as a customer, you're not really supposed to be going. Like you start going into like an employee only area, and then you find the bathroom. That's what that kind of feels like.
I'm gonna fall off by just watching these videos. And for them, it's even more of an adrenaline high on why they do it. I guess the dopamine released on the risk of falling is just too good to pass up on. There's another well-known incident that happened with this thrill-seeking activity that went viral a couple years ago. Shocking, wonder how it could go wrong. His name was Wu Yongning, and he was a famous guy on social media for doing all types of crazy roof climbs. These pictures look straight up photoshopped. I want to know how the
I can't even look at that. My friggin'. You know, when you look at that, you get that weird feeling in your nuts. I just got that from looking at this. Like it's with that when you get like there's like a height difference. I don't know, something about this.
picture like this, you keep your balance. One wind gust and you're out clean. He was recording a video for a challenge that offered some money for who had the best rooftop climb. And on camera, while recording, he was on the side of a building when he lost grip and fell
I remember this.
62 stories.
Did he live?
Or in American terms, 1,120 feet. And this whole incident I'm talking about, it's on the internet. Like, you can exactly see how it goes until he falls.
Yeah, I remember this.
It's disturbing to know as soon as he's out of the frame, he's going probably for another couple of seconds before hitting the ground and splatting to his death. And what I notice in a lot of these type of activities, a lot of these people don't even associate there could be any type of risk until a major incident happens. So yeah, that's about all I wanted to.
It'll never happen to me because I'm special, see? It'll happen to other people, but it won't happen to me because I'm special.
To talk about today. Follow me on Twitter and
anyway, hope you guys like this video. That is the logic a lot of people use. It can't happen to me because I'm unique, I'm special. Everyone thinks that about themselves, right? Don't be doing stupid things. Think before you do them. Weigh out the odds, weigh out, you know, the safety and whatnot, because it's important. One wrong move is all it takes. Anyway, whatever, hope you guys like this. I get like claustrophobia from like looking at this kind of stuff. I don't know how people like it. You know, if that's what you're into, that's what you're into, I guess. But it's definitely not for me. Anyway, hope you guys like this. I'll see you guys later.